Today we're going to talk about what you can do to get rid of the pain that you might be feeling in your hand, your wrist, or your elbow. And again, if you're starting any new exercise program, it's always a good idea to contact your primary care physician. So, I used to, I think I mentioned in our introduction, I was a nurse for 30 years before I went into massage. I was a mother of 4. I loved to renovate houses. I loved to work in the garden. And I pretty much hurt everywhere. Had pain in my jaw, pain in my low back, but I specifically had pain in my elbow. And I can remember when the kids were younger and I always had a child on my hip, and you'd kind of be resting them in between like this. And I can remember the pain that I used to have right there at the thumb coming up the arm. I don't have any of that anymore, basically because I've learned how to take care of myself, and I've gotten some good massage therapy throughout the last 8-9 years. Anyway, I want to show you what you can do for pain in the forearm. Again, the pain that you're feeling in the joint, in the wrist, and in the elbow is due to problems in the muscles here. So we're going to start by just kind of locking your elbow in so that you're not doing this, you're doing this. And just place your hand on top of, one hand on top of the other, and you're going to bring that wrist way down. Now I want to encourage you to watch that index finger, because the index and the thumb are the two we use the most, and they're the two that often are causing us the most trouble. So when you take that hand down, sometimes I tell people just put a little C over that knuckle, that index knuckle, and make sure you really pull the index finger down. And you're going to feel the pull across the top of your arm, and you can also feel it going all the way up your arm. And so again, do about 10 of these. You can do them anywhere, anytime, and I encourage you to fill it into the cracks of your life. Take them down. So we do 10, and then you're going to resist back. Do that resistance back where I act like I'm going to bring it back, but I'm stopping myself from doing that. About 20% of your strength to come back. Rest. Stretch it down a little further, resist back for 10 seconds, rest, stretch it down a little further. And sometimes that third time coming down, it's almost just a breath. You can't take it much further, but you just encourage it to come down a little more. Then we're going to reverse the position. We're going to stretch the hand back this way, and feel free to stretch each individual finger. One of the therapists that works with us, she always calls it doing finger splits. And so we're going to bring each one of those fingers back, as we're doing the wrist too. So stretching the fingers back, and then stretching that thumb back. Then we want to get the twisters. So I put one hand behind the other, and actually put my index finger between my index and thumb, and I'm going to twist it way around this way. And do that about 10 times, just pushing. I'm pushing with the palm of my hand, and I'm pulling it with my fingers. Stretching it around. Then you can resist for 10 seconds, stretch a little further. Resist for 10 seconds, stretch a little further. And then we're going to twist it the other way. So it's coming around, and I'm pushing it and pulling it at the same time. I resist back, and then I stretch more. I resist back, and I stretch more, doing that 3 times. Then the next thing I'm going to show you is probably the most important one for you to learn. I really believe there is not a carpal tunnel out there, there's not an epicondylitis out there that you can't correct with doing these stretches if you faithfully do them. And you need to do them depending upon how bad the situation is, but you need to regularly do it twice a day for a good 2 weeks to get this corrected. And then do them for the rest of your life, because we're not going to stop our activities. Hopefully we're going to increase our activities, and you need to prepare the forearm to be able to do what you're asking it to do. So the next stretch, it's stretching it, but you're also massaging it at the same time. Now you can do this up against your bed or a kitchen table. If you use a hard surface, it might be good to put a little pillow down or fold a towel, just so it's not so hard pushing on your knuckles. And so I've got just a table with a pillow here, and I'm facing this side, and I'm bringing my palm straight down, and as I do that, I'm taking my thumb with all the strength and depth that I can, and I'm running over those tender spots on the inside of my arm. And you can vary where you're at, and you know where you need to go. You know where it's tender. And that's where you need to be rubbing through at the same time you're stretching that wrist. Now, some people that come to our clinics, they can only go here. They don't have that range of motion yet. You go to where you can. You don't force it. You don't stretch into pain. Muscles love to be coaxed. I'll say this many times. They love to be coaxed. They do not like to be jerked and pulled too hard, too fast. That's how an injury happens. So we just breathe with it and we take it down. And then we're going to reverse it. So I'm bringing my hand around, and now my wrist is bent back this way. And again, as I come down, I'm going to massage with my thumbs. If my thumbs are sore and they can't do the work, I can use my fingers. If my fingers are sore and they can't do the work, I can make a fist and use my knuckles. Anything you can find to rub down, clean out, open up, separate the muscles that are clumped together, get circulation flowing into there, get the muscle off the nerve, and then your symptoms go away in your hand. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about the elbow. The stretches that I showed you for the shoulder, your biceps and triceps, will help the elbow. But there's one specific muscle. It's your drinking muscle. It's the muscle that brings, it's a bicep helper, but it actually brings your hand over to your mouth. And it attaches at the thumb, kind of right at the wrist. It comes up and it attaches at a little, and I won't say little, it's about 1 inch wide right there on your humerus, on your upper arm bone. This spot can be a nasty little spot, very tender. On some people it kind of just starts to feel like a golf ball. It gets so thick and tender there. This muscle can cause pain when you shake someone's hand. And so the stretch for it is the same as the bicep stretch, but you want to get a thumb motion into that. And you also want to start rubbing through there. Just cleaning it out. If it's real, real tender, you can turn it off by taking a drink. Just bring your arm up towards your mouth, and that will turn off that muscle. We stretch it by taking the arm straight back, tuck the thumb in, and give a good wrist stretch as you do the bicep stretch too. I'm going to talk a little bit about fingers and thumbs. I mentioned I have many quilters that come to me. Their thumbs get pretty bad sometimes, but they're not going to stop quilting. They've got to learn how to fix their thumbs. And many people say to me, you know, I just have arthritis in my fingers and thumbs. And of course, some people do. There's two different kinds of arthritis. There's rheumatoid arthritis, which is more of an autoimmune disease, and there is real disfiguration in the joints. You can start to see the joints turning. There's osteoarthritis, which just comes with aging, but it also can come from a trauma onto a certain joint. Even if there's arthritis there, the important thing is that we keep it moving and that we deal with the soft tissue. Like, I'll go right into this muscly soft tissue area right there in people. It's extremely tender on people sometimes, and that's not your joint. That's not arthritis. That is soft tissue. So we want to work around the thumb. Just clean that area out, and we want to stretch the thumb and then tuck the thumb in and put your hand on top and stretch down as you come up one of the thumb muscles, cleaning that out. So good luck on working your forearm, and do this all the time. Every commercial, every red light. When someone else is driving, you're working on your arms. When I was first starting this, my kids said, "Mom, you're always poking yourself somewhere." That's because I was obsessed with cleaning out these muscles and getting healthy again. And I encourage you to stick with it and keep at it. See you in the next video.